Hi everyone, welcome back to Job One for All. In this video, we are going to do a little refactoring in the previous classes that we used for exercising methods. So refactoring is just getting the existing code and changing. Sometimes you are going to improve performance, sometimes you are going to improve readability, but the refactoring is related to something that's going to change for the better your code. And in our case, we are going to improve in a sense that we are going to have low coupling. And I'm going to explain something else. So just go to B, introduction methods, domain employee. And as you can see, we were using the attributes publicly. Basically, if we go to employee test, you will see that we can access directly those attributes. And we know that's a bad thing. So first thing that we are going to do here is one tiny change. Now the average, instead of using local variable, what if we move average to the class? And since we have the 4 values when initializing, we can remove the equals 0. Now you'll notice that this is gray, saying that the average is never used, is because we didn't remove from here. So basically this average, it's overriding the value that we have with a broader scope. Remember, the variables that you have at the same scope of your method will always take precedence. In this case, we don't want it here. We just want to have it here in the class. So this now is a class variable. Okay, and we always have everything public. Now, that is one thing here. Remember, when we are having the variables publicly accessible, anyone can just go there and put any values. We saw that with age. Now, we know how to protect, basically by having everything private. And of course, we are going to break the code that we have in our test. But part of the refactoring is breaking things, making things better, and making it run again. In our case, we have to now generate the getters and setters, but we have 4 attributes. I'm not going to do that. I will rely on my IDE. So all IDEs, even if you're using NetBeans or Eclipse, IntelliJ, they will offer you this option to generate getters and setters because I said it's a convention. In IntelliJ, you just hold Alt and press Insert. And then you have here both getters and setters, or getter only and setter only. So if I select set and select all of them and press OK, you will see that we have set name, string name, set age, int age, and so on, exactly like we did before. The only difference is that here we have an array we didn't have in the previous video. And if we want get, same thing, select get and then select all attributes, holding shift and press OK. Now we have get age, get salaries, get average, get name, exactly the same way as we had before. And if you always want to generate both of them, if you delete and press Alt Insert, getter and setter, select all of them, OK. So you will notice that we have always get and then set. Get name, get age, set age. And for the set, we have this dot age because the attribute that we have here in the parentheses, the parameter, they have exactly the same name as the class variable that we have here. So everything that we did manually, but now we did it in less than 3 seconds. Now we have to refactor employee test. Basically, set name, set age, and set salaries. And just start fixing everything. Add 1 parenthesis here. You can move 21 here. And then for the salaries, just leave inside the new double. So basically on line number 10, you are creating the array with 3 salaries and sending it directly. So this means that after this is finished, after we pass line 10, I will never be able to access this again because it's a space in memory that we are generating, and who is holding a reference to it? This variable that will die after we pass line 55. Okay, so far so good, but we do have one problem. So remember that we created one variable to hold the average, and if we call here inside the println employee.getAverage, we will have the value of this average. But we do have one problem. We can do this because now we are giving, even though we are having a method between the variable and whoever is calling, we still have access to it. So if I give a random value, now the average will change in memory, but we would like to avoid that. Who is going to change the average? Is the employee object. He's the one responsible for changing that variable. So basically the average should be read only. So if something's changing the variable inside the object, it means that everybody with read access will be able to get. But if we are not giving public access, nobody will be able to write and override whatever this method is doing. In our case, how can we make it read only? If we remove the set average, that's the only method that will allow other classes to change the value that we have inside. So by removing the set average and leaving get average, we are saying that now for everybody that's outside the employee.java, we'll have read-only access. That's why set average is not working. So if I remove the set average and I execute again, we now have the average. So the average is being calculated inside the print average. So we have here calculating print average salary. So in a real world scenario, this should be called in a different way, in a sense that sometimes if you don't call print, you will get 0 for the average because the average is happening there. But the scope of this video is just to show you how to have read-only access for variables. Okay, I think that's enough content for one video. Let's move on. See you in the next video. Bye.